Physiology of the reproductive system involves the processes that enable organisms to produce offspring. The human reproductive system consists of the male and female reproductive systems, each of which has a specific function for the production of gametes, reproductive cells, and support for embryonic development in women. The following is a detailed explanation of the physiology of the male and female reproductive systems. 1. Physiology of the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system functions to produce, store, and deliver sperm, as well as produce the hormone testosterone, which regulates male sex characteristics and reproductive function, which includes a. Main organs of the male reproductive system, which consist of 1. Testes, namely, the main organ in the male reproductive system that produces sperm, male reproductive cells, and testosterone, male sex hormone. The testes consist of seminiferous tubules, where spermatogenesis, sperm formation, occurs. 2. Epididymis, namely, a temporary storage place for sperm after being produced in the testes. Here, sperm mature and gain the ability to move. 3. Vas deferens, ductus deferens, namely, the channel that transports sperm from the epididymis to the urethra during ejaculation. 4. Seminal vesicles, namely, glands that produce semen fluid containing fructose to provide energy for sperm. 5. Prostate, namely, glands that produce fluid that increases semen volume and has enzymes that help protect sperm and increase their motility. 6. Urethra, namely, the channel that transports semen during ejaculation and urine during urination out of the body. 7. Penis, namely, an external organ that functions to transfer sperm into the female reproductive tract during sexual intercourse. B. Spermatogenesis process. Spermatogenesis is the process of sperm formation that occurs in the seminiferous tubules in the testes. This process consists of several stages, namely, 1. Spermatogonium, sperm stem cells, that divide through mitosis to produce primary spermatocytes. 2. Primary spermatocytes that undergo meiosis to produce secondary spermatocytes, which then develop into spermatids. 3. Spermatids that undergo spermiogenesis, where their shape changes into mature sperm that are ready to be released, ejaculation. C. Hormone regulation in men. 1. Testosterone, namely, the main hormone produced by Leydig cells in the testes. Testosterone plays a role in the development of male secondary sex characteristics, such as deep voice, hair growth, and muscle mass, and influences libido and spermatogenesis. 2. FSH, follicle-stimulating hormone, namely, produced by the anterior pituitary gland. This hormone stimulates Sertoli cells in the testes to support the spermatogenesis process. 3. LH, luteinizing hormone, also produced by the anterior pituitary gland. LH stimulates Leydig cells in the testes to produce testosterone. This hormone regulation process involves negative feedback, where high testosterone levels will inhibit the production of LH and FSH. Regulating the balance of hormones in the body. 2. Physiology of the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system functions to produce egg cells, ova, provide a place for fertilization, and support the development of the fetus during pregnancy. This system is also responsible for the menstrual cycle and the secretion of hormones that regulate reproductive function. A. Main organs of the female reproductive system, which include 1. Ovaries, namely, the ovaries produce egg cells, ova, and female sex hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen regulates the development of female secondary sex characteristics, while progesterone prepares the uterus for possible pregnancy. 2. Fallopian tubes, fallopian channels, namely, channels that connect the ovaries to the uterus. Fertilization of the egg by sperm usually occurs in the fallopian tubes. 3. Uterus, namely, the organ where the fetus grows during pregnancy. The uterus has an inner lining called the endometrium, which changes throughout the menstrual cycle. 4. Vagina, namely, the channel that connects the uterus to the outside world. The vagina receives the penis during sexual intercourse and becomes the birth canal during childbirth. 5. Cervix, namely, the lower part of the uterus that connects to the vagina. The cervix produces mucus that facilitates the journey of sperm to the uterus. 6. Mammary glands, namely, although not directly part of the reproductive system. The breasts play a role in the production of breast milk to breastfeed the child after birth. B. Oogenesis process. Oogenesis is the process of egg cell formation that occurs in the ovaries. This process begins when a woman is still a fetus, with the formation of primary oocytes. These primary oocytes then stop at the meiosis I stage until puberty. Every month, during the menstrual cycle, one oocyte continues meiosis division to form a secondary oocyte, which is ready to be fertilized. This process occurs in mature ovarian follicles. C. Menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is a series of physiological changes that occur in a woman's body, which lasts an average of 28 days, and involves hormonal fluctuations. This cycle is divided into 3 phases. Namely, 1. Follicular phase, days 1 to 14, namely, begins with menstruation and lasts until ovulation. In this phase, FSH levels stimulate the ovaries to produce follicles containing mature oocytes, while estrogen increases, thickening the endometrium. 2. Ovulation, around day 14, namely, ovulation occurs when a mature follicle ruptures and releases an oocyte that is ready to be fertilized. LH and estrogen peak at this point, triggering the release of the oocyte. 3. Luteal phase, days 15 to 28, namely, after ovulation, the remnants of the ruptured follicle turn into a corpus luteum, which produces progesterone to maintain the thickness of the endometrium and prepare it for a possible pregnancy. If fertilization does not occur, the corpus luteum will degenerate, reducing progesterone levels, and causing the endometrial lining to be shed, menstruation, starting a new cycle. D. Hormonal regulation in women, which includes 1. Estrogen. Produced by ovarian follicles, estrogen stimulates the growth of the endometrial lining and the development of female secondary sex characteristics, such as breasts and body fat distribution. 2. Progesterone, produced by the corpus luteum after ovulation. Progesterone plays a role in preparing the endometrium to receive the fertilized egg. 3. FSH and LH. These hormones are produced by the pituitary gland and regulate the processes of oogenesis and ovulation. FSH stimulates follicle maturation, while LH triggers ovulation. 3. Pregnancy and childbirth. If ovulation is followed by fertilization, the fertilized egg will attach to the endometrial lining and begin embryo development. Pregnancy is maintained by the production of the hormone human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, produced by the placenta, which prevents degeneration of the corpus luteum. Labor is triggered by uterine contractions triggered by oxytocin, which causes the cervix to open and the fetus is expelled through the vagina. 4. Conclusion. The physiology of the human reproductive system plays a crucial role in the production of offspring and the regulation of sexual function. The male and female reproductive systems each have very specific functions, regulated by complex hormonal interactions. Processes such as spermatogenesis, oogenesis, ovulation, menstruation, and pregnancy and childbirth are all integral parts of the human ability to reproduce.